Hey everybody, it is Wintermute coming to you from the Think Tank. Um, this is going to be just like a bit of a preamble before I deliberately start kind of a new sub-series about house rules. And the I just want to kind of touch on kind of like some concepts of why we have house rules and where they come from. So it also kind of touches on some game play philosophy or game design philosophy. And so I think we all know kind of where they come from, the big things. And let me kind of break it down for you. Like sometimes it comes from balance issues, like with Dominion. When I played Dominion, which is a great card game, I still love it. I'll still play it. But the way they set the game up was you started with 10 gold in your deck, or 7 gold in your deck, and then 3 estates. Well, if you drew your first hand and you had 3 estates and 2 gold, you were at a distinct disadvantage to the other players, without a doubt. And me and my group that I played with for a while played that game extensively and realized that that was a problem. So we just stopped doing that. We just started everybody off with 10 gold. I believe that's what we did, something along those lines. So nobody ended up with dead cards in their hands. So there was we all felt that there was a balance issue there, which prompted us to create a house rule. That's not a critique of the designer. There might be reasons why the designer deliberately, either they didn't think it was a big issue, and they felt it would balance itself out, or players would take advantage of comeback mechanics to kind of level things out in the end. But we didn't see that, and we enjoyed the game better once we started playing it the other way, with the house rule. So that's probably one of the biggest motivators. Now, of course, there are other reasons. To fix other kind of blatant issues or things you really aren't comfortable with, or like, and I'll give you another good example. I love Star Trek Panic, and for those who haven't played it, it's basically Castle Panic with set in the Star Trek universe. And it's a good game, and everybody that I've had play it loves it. It really, for as simple as it is, it really does capture the feel of kind of the original series in a lot of ways. But there is a particular mechanic in the game where once the Enterprise becomes damaged to a certain point, you can no longer maneuver the ship around the board. And at that point, the game just grinds to a halt, and until you can fix the ship. And nobody I've ever played with has enjoyed that happening. We all felt that it just added a layer of. It was already kicking you while you were down, because it's not an easy game. It was kicking you while you were down to the point where it became unplayable. So my group, and honestly, every time I even bring it out to a new group of people, I say, okay, guys, there's one thing I want to point out that we don't want to, may not want to play with, and here's why, and I'll make that argument. And honestly, a couple times I've even forgot to even mention that rule, and that wasn't deliberate on my part. I just forgot to mention it, and then I mentioned, oh, I forgot this rule, and players kind of get this kind of like, oh, I don't, yeah, that would have ruined the last part. I mean, we already won by the skin of our teeth. So, and I still love Star Trek Panic. I will pull it out and play it in a heartbeat. But there's just that one rule that I think does not fit, because it causes the game to become unfun when it happens, when it triggers. So you've got the balance issues, you've got the fix what you think are glaring issues in the game, and maybe just to make the game a little more fun. And then there's personal reasons. There's a reason why a lot of the Canadian players who played Global War 1936 want to play with the Canadian expansion. I completely respect that. Even if I wanted to play a completely vanilla base game, but I was, the vast majority of the people I was playing against were like, well, we'd like to really play with the Canada War expansion. It's, okay, well, obviously I'm in Canada and I'm surrounded by Canadians, so great, go for it. I would expect the same thing of people who, I played with a bunch of Turkish players, or a bunch of people who were from China. They wanted to play with the China expansion. That's or the Latin America War. It's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So there are personal reasons to do it too. But it's most house rules generally don't. And I think some people sometimes take them like they're a critique of the game, and sometimes they can be, sure, but that's not necessarily always the case. So if a house rule is introduced to either address uh, something that the players don't think is fun, or to fix a balance issue, or to kind of fill in a gap that wasn't, people kind of went, there's just something missing here that maybe the designers missed. That's not necessarily a critique of the designers. It's just, the game has had a chance to be played by other people other than the designers in the core design group. And so things like that will pop up. And there are examples where that has been the case. And the designer, word gets back to the designer, and the designer goes, yeah, you know what, you're right. Yeah, we could have done that better, or you know what, that rule should have been in there. And you know what? We're going to put that we're going to put that in there as when we release the game. And that there's plenty of examples of where that's happened. So, but that's I just want to kind of touch on some key points about how I feel about house rules when it comes to moving forward as I present them. And I will always qualify them with this. If I talk about a house rule, I will always explain where it's coming from and what my motivation is for it. As opposed to just, here's just this idea. It's like, well, okay, what made you think of this idea? What do you think you're adding to the game? Is there an issue you think that you're kind of fixing, or a section missing from the rules that need a gap kind of needs to be bridged? Just, I guess, game design philosophy, gaming philosophy. I just wanted to put this out there as a preamble to talking about house rules. So this series will be, when I present it, it will be just house rules, really just focused on Global War 1936 and why I'm doing it. And now, when I say house rules, I also mean potential additions for things that I think might work well in the game. So it's also a little bit of a springboard for ideas, but it'll, I will always explain where I'm coming from. So yeah, with that, this is just the start of this series. I wanted to kind of get this video done, and I will see you later. This is Winter Mute from the Think Tank signing out.